GM, 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 GM. So, um, the market's a bit weird today. I think I don't know. I don't know if we're going to make it to the end of the year without a shakeout because it's very much kind of anecdotal. But I just keep seeing on my Twitter about how people are. Someone turned like fucking $1,000 into 1 million, and a bunch of people just sharing how much money they're making on Solana shit coins, and I see a lot of flexing of P&L, which is always a red flag. I also see a lot of people, doing those stupid challenges or talking about how much they've taken a small account and grown it, and this wallet had $2,000 in it last week. Now it's got 20,000. So there's a lot of subjective top signals, right? So I'm not even going to look at WorldCoin. That doesn't really matter. Looking at Bitcoin. So probably still following the green path. I don't necessarily think Bitcoin's very strong here. Unless there's an ETF approval coming this week, which I don't think there is. I think it's going to continue to chop. Probably to take a little bit of the froth out of the altcoin market. Because if we look at total 3, like we have been doing, total 3 is now out and above leading. So this doesn't mean the top. This means the next few dips are for buying on alts, most likely. But alts obviously quite clearly now leading, as Bitcoin hasn't broken out. Alts are breaking out. You typically get a few days of alt outperformance before a correction or whatever. Most of this is driven by Solana. Ethereum starting to build up a pretty decent base here. I think Ethereum's going to go for a new high, most likely. Could probably see Ethereum going to 2,500 quite soon. It's moved up. It's had quite a nice consolidation here, pretty similar to what it did over here. Climbs up, runs out. ETH BTC finally starting to move up. Yesterday was like peak bearish sentiment on Ethereum, which always means you're going to have a reaction on Ethereum. It doesn't mean Ethereum's suddenly going to outperform Bitcoin for any meaningful period of time, but it does mean probably right away you'll have some outperformance short term. And I still think there's serious questions that like ETH maxis need to ask themselves about why it hasn't performed for 2 years. Like, this is the thing. ETH BTC could go all the way back to 0.07, and ETH maxis would think they're right to have held ETH from 2021, but it's just not correct. So I think it goes up. I'm sure it goes up at some point. It can't go down forever. But this just isn't a bullish chart. So, what else? Yeah, just in general, I feel like the market's a bit getting a little bit irrational. Saves moving nicely. Never got the pullback to get on it. Sui doing the multiple false breakouts. Could be a decent one if there's an opportunity here. It's popped back below on a false breakout. It was quite weak though. No real closes above it. Typically though, if you get back above that level, you should run. If it stays above the 50. Neon. So parallelized EVMs were moving. Render. WorldCoin starting to climb a bit. Akash looking best of all of them, but it needs to break out. I just don't want to see it just hang around here because it'll end up just falling back and doing more of the same. I'd like to see it make a bigger move. Ocean, Fetch, AJX. A lot of these larger caps on the AI side are flagging. One Harmony, I got my eye on that because it fits the EVM layer one narrative. Seems to be this rotation now back into layer ones. You've got like Near running, even Dot looking better than most. So as I look through alts, multi-bridge or multi-bit, I should say, I keep calling it the wrong thing. Multi-bit, looking pretty good, breaking out of that downtrend. Here's the thing. Normally when the market cycles through a lot of different narratives, right? So we've had AI, we've had Solana shitcoins, we've had Avalanche shitcoins, we've had all the dog coins on every different chain, right? We've then had parallelized EVMs, which is now like with Say and Sui, etc., etc., etc. We had Celestia, we had Injective, and now we're kind of going on to other layer ones, and it's starting to really, in terms of the major centralized exchange perps, like the coins that are traded on the big centralized exchanges, it's, to me, it seems like we're playing chase, playing catch up on a lot of laggards, which is usually late stage, or before some kind of a shakeout or whatever. We've kind of rotated through all the different narratives, yeah. And BTC itself, so here's the thing, the overall market will remain good. I said this yesterday. I said we've probably got 30 days at least left, because this is the first consensus bull market that we've had, which is a good thing. You need consensus for it to be actually a bull. You not remember, like 2022, every rally failed. 2023, the first rally was good, but that was all we had, right? We rallied from January to March, and that was it. We were done. There was no other rally. If you look at total, right? It's like we literally had one rally this year. Not two. A lot of people think this is the third rally, but it's not. We rallied up, right? We broke out, rallied up, shake out, up to the top, sold off. The BlackRock news did not give us a new leg on the rally. It only pushed us back into resistance. And then away we go now. Now that it's more consensus bull, I see much more possibility for this to go a lot higher and for longer. So it could even extend to 100 days or beyond. But within that, we're seeing a lot of, I don't know, I'm seeing a lot of signs that short term, there's probably some, I don't quite know what it's going to be, but the Twitter thing is the part that has me most cautious, because when you see these posts getting massive engagement that are talking about, I made this much money, I made so much money, I did this with this wallet, 10K to 100K. Right, the person saying it, for a start, is probably lying. They're probably LARPing for engagement, but they weren't doing that 6 months ago, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, because the market was not like that. Engagement 6 months ago was bearish. If you wanted high engagement, you had the bear post. Now, you're getting high engagement if you're doing these like crazy challenges. And it's not the person who posts it, it's what everyone reading it, all the dumb money that reads it thinks, oh, I'm going to do that too. So they load up a wallet and they start to try and like gamble and grow a wallet really fast and all. And it's usually that. It's like the person who watches or reads that thread and thinks, yeah, I'm going to do a 1,000 to 100,000 wallet. And they load it up, they put 1,000 in. Of course, they put it into some Solana shitcoin and goes to zero, right? Or they load it up into a centralized exchange. They set up their long, they take a long with leverage, and they get wiped out. So it's not so much like a top signal for me, because I just don't think the top's in until the ETF has already passed. I do think it's a a short-term signal for a shakeout. And I think the total market cap, really, people kind of people sleep on this a bit, right? This is where you want to be buying, and this is where you want to be not selling. There's no point shorting or selling. You could take profit, sure, but this is where you want to be cautious, because we've had now, a few days moving up. The total cap, just like it did over here, right, can very easily flush back down. Because each time it gets up to this resistance, people reload the leverage, flush them out. Reload the leverage, bleed them out. Reload the leverage, flush them out. Maybe this time it just breaks out. But it never does. It literally never does. It never just breaks out. Even here, when it wicked the high, it had a slow sell-off, consolidate, push back up, and then slowly breaks out. Not like the psychology of the market is not going to have a clean breakout here, because everyone's just max bullish again. Even if we just did this, right, that would get people concerned, because this little drop would take alts down 10% and everyone would start crying again. And then it would bounce up, but they wouldn't believe it. And then away we go. I don't know, but my eyes are just drawn to this. Total cap. If you want to look at total 3 as well. This first breakout, quite likely to be a false breakout, right? It's not our first breakout. I suppose we did have a second. This is our second breakout. There was one yesterday. Oh, no, sorry, it's a 12-hour chart. So on a daily chart. Daily chart. Yeah, one false breakout, two false breakout. Or sorry, second breakout. So yeah, there's loads of room down here. These wicks, all of this, essentially just a massive gap below, which just shows you that all the way up here, if you build positions here and here and here and here, right, and even here on the retest, you're generally good. If you build positions above the 50 EMA, you build it here, you start to get long here and here and here, and even here, you're at risk. This is entirely driven by Solana. Solana's a big part of the total market cap, and Solana's ripping, doing really well. So that's fine for Solana, but Solana can now have just a normal pullback, but all these other alts that people are aping into leverage to play catch up on just sets them up for, bit of pain. Probably comes down, second leg, and then away it goes again. I'd much prefer to see something like this if I was going to get long. And so I wouldn't be necessarily opening any positions here as we break out. But I'm also not, I'm not mega bearish, because with the ETF and all of that coming, this total cap can drop down 5, 6, 7% and still not really concern me. Look at the data. I can see Bitcoin's funding rate's already crazy. So yeah, I think people are just making the same mistake again. They're just going to get wrecked. Funding rate, open interest global, funding rate. Yeah, Bitcoin funding rate's getting stupid. And there's not going to be an ETF approval. As far as I'm aware, unless something has changed, they literally cannot approve them until the 8th of January because of the comment periods. I talked about this a lot. And yet the market is trading as if the ETF is going to be approved, which would be fine if it wasn't all leverage driven, which it is. Look at that ramp of OI, or funding, sorry. The OI on alts is hitting new highs. Yeah. People just never learn. So I would urge extreme caution here. And you're going to get better entries if you wait for dips, in my opinion. No shorting. I still think that's retarded. Right? I'm not going to be shorting anything, but I certainly will be taking some profits off some of these positions, because it's just, again, like, rate of change. Open interest just ramping up outside of, on altcoins. And again, for Solana, that's fine. Solana's running hard, but everything else isn't really. So yeah, I see probably a deeper correction in the next few days. I don't know. I guess Bitcoin's probably going to first tag these highs, right? Whether it hits 45 or not, I don't know. But I said this in Weekly Outlook. I said it consistently. 45, I'm expecting to not hold. I'm expecting 40 to hold, right, until the options expiry, and then Bitcoin can go and do whatever it's going to do into the end of the year. So Bitcoin can easily come back down here. Just imagine what that would do to alts. Again, that's 7% on Bitcoin. Oh my God. Fucking alts are going to go down 20, 30%. And I'm not bear posting at all. In fact, I think you should be getting ready to buy dips on this. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at. Market's getting too frothy for me here in the short term. So you want to see a bit of a shakeout first. That's it. GM. See you all later on the live stream.